welcome to 2.5 Dads this week. We've got Stephen Youngson, Al Thompson, myself, Ryan McCready, and this week we've got a guest star, Danny.
What's happening? All good.
How you doing, Danny? You alright?
Aye, brand new. Yourself?
Aye. No bad. So this week we're going to talk about our interests outside of comedy, because the last one was quite comedy heavy and 9/11 heavy. Aye. So you love wrestling, Danny, the same as me and Aldi.
Yeah.
And how much did you watch?
I'm probably like the least wrestling aficionado. I've played a lot of wrestling games as a kid growing up because UFC games weren't basically at the level.
Aye, but so the Attitude Era, everybody wants to talk about the Attitude Era. That was prime wrestling. Well, I would say the news starting to creep up a bit. So what do you remember? Because I'm well versed for the 80s onwards.
Mate, were you not born in the fucking 2000?
I was, yes, but I was also
How good were you at history in
obsessed
school?
with it. I was actually really good at history.
They just teach wrestling at you?
Apart from this. The only thing I didn't get is... Oh no, it doesn't matter.
Too dark.
I'm not ruining
too
the
dark.
episode 2
Straight
minutes
away
in again.
A master's degree in SmackDown, is that what you're saying?
Well, my first wrestling video I remember getting was WrestleMania 3 with Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan and the big slam and stuff like that. It came in like it was a video at the time for my next door neighbour, and it came as like a doubler. And like the Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan match was our 2 tapes, and you had to like put the second tape in to see him do the slam and stuff like that. It was
How did that work whenever, like, with that? Because
it wasn't like pick them up and then it's like, no, you need to stop.
You
You need to stop the tape.
too. With tape too, even.
Aye, tape
if you've
too.
not rewound it right at the last
Exactly.
no.
And Coco Beware's coming out and you're like, where the fuck's this game from?
Somebody's put the fucking Transformers on the other side of it rather than...
But that was my first kind of exposure to wrestling, and then it was WCW on Channel 5.
Oh,
they used
I
to put
remember that.
they put WCW Thunder on. And
Did you used to watch that?
It's only because I couldn't get Sky.
Aye.
Because I was for kind of consoles, but
Because it was
This
on.
was just a
Just because
bit
it was
beside.
on.
aye, so it was that was Rey Mysterio and what was the boy's name with the big horns and the mask?
Oh, Juventud Guerrero?
Aye,
that him?
aye, and then
Aye.
was it Psychosis as well?
Psychosis.
Aye, all that. So that was where I kind of started. But I always wanted to watch WWF at the time because it was like Stone Cold and The Rock and all that. So for Christmas, that's all we asked for was like wrestling tapes. And the first one I got was Royal Rumble '98, Undertaker, Stone Cold.
Yep.
Oh no, that's SummerSlam '98.
That's 98. Highway to Hell.
Highway to Hell. Yeah, SummerSlam '98. So
Maybe
that.
I'm not as well versed as I thought I was. So I'm just struggling to remember now.
I will smoke you when it comes to the fucking WWF.
Aye,
trust me.
aye. Then there was like the oddities come out and all that,
Oddities.
Big Kurgan and Golga.
They used to come out to the Insane Clown
Clown
Posse.
Posse,
Yeah.
yep. But it was see the guy under the Golga mask. It was
Earthquake.
Earthquake. Aye, that's
Oh,
metal.
Earthquake and Typhoon.
Aye.
David
Aye.
Teichmann, aye.
Natural disasters.
Natural
Aye,
disasters. I think one of the first ones I remember watching was like they were the tag team champions and they were fighting against was it IRS and what was that other guy? The guy that was all about money. $1 million
Million
man.
Dollar Man.
Aye,
I've got a signed picture for him. I met him at a Comic Con.
Oh,
Did
really?
you?
Aye, it was.
Ted DiBiase. Son's in the jail.
What was he like? Was he cool?
Aye, it was amazing. It was what?
His son's in the jail. Ted DiBiase Jr.'s in the jail.
For dodging tax?
I can't remember what it's for, but he's in the jail for 43 years.
43
No, he's
years.
not.
I swear to God.
Hey, get your phone out.
Aye,
Nice,
get
no.
that fact checked. We need a Jamie in here.
Oh, who am I talking about then that get injured when he was wrestling and never wrestled again? He was somebody dropped
There's a
him in
few
his
of
head.
them.
Oh, you thinking
There's
of
a few of
Draws?
No, he's died, didn't he?
He died recently.
FS,
Yeah.
aye.
This
brutal.
podcast is going to be really
Aye.
sad.
I know, because everybody's going to be dead.
It's not Owen Hart, is it?
No,
No, Owen Hart fell for the turnbuckle. He never done
No,
anything
like-
again.
Ted
Ryan
DiBiase.
brings up the dark shit.
He died 2 or 3 days before my birthday. That's what I'm saying.
Ted DiBiase Jr.
Is in the jail.
No, who am I thinking then?
No,
No,
Ted
he's not.
DiBiase's
He is, Ted
junior.
DiBiase.
He's a wrestler. I'm positive he's a
He
wrestler.
was, and he was in the Legacy with Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and then he get let go for the company, and then hundreds of shit come out, and now he's in the jail.
No, he's no.
He is.
I'm looking at the new. He's no.
Ted DiBiase Jr. is in the jail.
No, he get injured.
In the jail.
In the jail.
We can't talk about that injury he sustained.
He get bummed with Virgil.
Got Tyroninated.
I'm sure Ted DiBiase Jr.
Well, I've just fucking looked at his Wikipedia and he's no, so drop it.
Ryan
Oh,
needs to,
Wikipedia, where are you getting your sources?
Ryan needs to
Wikipedia.
issue an apology to Ted DiBiase Jr.
I don't need to ask you any apology.
Aye, so I met Ted. That's where I met Ted DiBiase at a Comic Con, and I've got a signed picture of him. But I always liked him. He was. Did he not buy the title? Did he not buy the?
Aye, he bought it for $1 million.
title.
Aye. And then he was Stone Cold's first ever manager
That's right.
when he was the
Ringmaster.
Ringmaster. That's it.
I actually know a lot more shit about wrestling than I thought. by
Aye,
the way.
same here.
See, just in your talk. Oh, here we go.
Ted DiBiase Jr. given new trial date. This was back in October. The 40-year-old has been due to stand trial on the June 20th to review the case. Blah, blah, blah. What did he? I just want to know what it done.
Well, you can.
6 counts of wire fraud, 2 counts of theft, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud.
That's not 46
And
years.
if convicted,
mate, if you think
if
it'd be money-
convicted, he faces a maximum sentence of 45 years imprisonment and a $1 million fine.
Jinky's Dal pay it.
That's good, eh?
Jinky's Dal pay
Aye.
it. Trade in his belt.
Aye, he's down cover that.
That's
don't
it.
worry.
You always get more for money than you ever do anything else. That's kind of.
I think that's how
Mental.
they're so hard on drug dealers, just because they can't make tax off it. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know why they don't just legalise everything and just make tax
Well,
off it.
apparently you can claim, you can report your earnings on drug dealing and the HMRC can't tell the police. I don't know if this is just a myth.
That is
I think-
utter
No,
bullshit.
that's
You just-
shite.
Get a
Ted
fucking-
DiBiase is walking as a free man.
I don't know if this is
You're
a
just
myth,
talking
but this
pure
is what I
shit
can
here.
tell.
Can we get a wee disclaimer that runs along the bottom?
yeah.
Please take it in that Ryan says with a pinch of salt.
A gallon or so. Talking utter mince. You've been dropping your
I
heat
hear
before you
this.
come in
I
here.
just hear shit and just.
Aye, then you just
come back
regurgitate it and it's
See if
right.
I like it, I just keep telling it.
Aye.
See, when you're talking about the old wrestling and stuff like that, and talking about like watching it on WCW and actually didn't have like the Sky. No, I didn't have Sky either, right? My wee pals did. So sometimes I'd go up to see him on a Saturday.
Aye.
When he'd put the wrestling on, it'd be on like Sky One, it'd be the repeat. I think that era as well, everybody was getting hit with a chair or chucked off the top of a cage and all that. And the show was pish when it was on like a Saturday morning show, because every time there was going to be any sort of violence, it
would
paused.
stop it.
And
Aye,
then you
they
just
would,
hear,
aye.
oh!
Aye.
And
They
then
would cut to the crowd.
Aye.
What am I watching here, man? What happened?
Then the other one was in Channel 4, like 11 o'clock, was Sunday Night Heat.
Sunday Night Heat.
Aye, and it was S.A. Rios and Lita. Oh, I fucking loved Lita, man.
Oh, she's
Still
a
love
baby,
Lita.
yeah.
And then like you would get all the kind of shitey matches and stuff like that. But sometimes they had, like if it was just before a pay-per-view and stuff
yeah.
like that, like that SummerSlam 98 was when Kane disappeared. Like, it was meant to be Kane and Mankind versus the New Age Outlaws, and Kane just disappeared. And it was a dumpster match.
Come out in the dumpster.
Aye. And
It's fucking epic, eh?
they put Mankind in the dumpster, and then Kane bursts out it, and it's got the sledgehammer, and
yeah.
just it's honestly, man, I fucking love it. Get it? If he's got the WWE Network,
I've got
I
it.
did
Aye.
have for a wee while. I kind of cancelled it when I fell out with the wrestling and kind of stepped away from it, but I went back to it.
So, what's your story with wrestling? What?
I loved it. Me and my dad used to, like, the only time I was ever allowed to stay up my school night was wrestling or Champions League football night, or European football night. So, on a Sunday night, if it was the Royal Rumble, I was going into school like that on the Monday because me and my dad were up watching the Royal Rumble. But it was like, I just loved it for growing up. I always used to like emulate it, and I hanged it. And then when I was 13, 14, I found out there was a school near me. And I'm like, I can go and be a wrestler. I can go and be a wrestler. I'm unfit as fuck. I can't climb the stairs. But I can go and be a wrestler. Do you know what I mean? And I went to the school and I gave 5 years in my life to it, but it never worked out. Saw politics and arse kissing and all that, and I'm not best known for that. Very opinionated, so I fell out with it. But the time I grew up in was just after what you were talking about. It's for about 2004, 2005 onwards. And I grew up in the John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista. Like, one of the first
Ruthless
matches I
finish.
remember watching is Guerrero versus Lesnar when Guerrero beat him.
Oh, yeah.
Was that the same night that
Benoit.
Oh, can I say it? Well, we're allowed to say it.
We're allowed to
Chris
say it.
Benoit, aye.
Is it
When,
Vince McMahon's got to burst through that door and delete the car?
that's vacant. That's his name. Aye, the two of them won it in the same night. And
Aye.
they came out. Oh, aye.
Was that WrestleMania 20 or 21, 22? Was that?
Must have been about 2004, 2005.
That was WrestleMania 20.
Aye.
It
that's
all
when they-
begins again. Yeah.
They had the really shit belt. That was like black and it was like quite small.
Aye, it was
the Undisputed belt?
The Undisputed belt, aye.
Was that what it was?
It
The
was
black
after-
one, was it?
Jericho unified them, and then they brought out that belt, didn't
Oh,
they?
was it? Because I loved the Attitude Era one, the big, massive
the
one.
eagle one.
Aye,
Yeah,
aye.
yeah.
Aye, the Winged Eagle one is one of the best. I think this one now, they've got the Roman Reigns and it's the gold background, that, because I've never liked that new design. But this one they've got, because when it was red and blue with the Universal title, that was reeking a dog meat.
That was horrible, eh?
Aye.
Shit.
It was stinking. But this one they've got, and it's the gold back down with the black belt and all that. It's kind of nice. I quite like it, but it'll never beat the one with Hart and Shawn Michaels and that just afore the big wine belt.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do you know that one? That one's the best of all time.
Yeah.
Aye. Aye, because it was Stone Cold won that. But did he win it off Bret Hart? No.
No, Shawn Michaels at
Shawn Michaels
WrestleMania
WrestleMania
14.
So
yeah.
it is, sorry. And then was it the day after that was when they came out with the big
Aye,
one?
yeah,
aye,
yeah,
aye,
yeah.
aye.
I
Is that
see
the
when it
one
was
they done him stinking like they were going to make him. He was going to win, but then gee up the belt, and then. was
Oh,
that-
here we go, Stevie.
Oh,
Aye.
yeah.
This is when it gets good.
The Montreal screw job. Right. So what it was Bret Hart had the title. He wanted to. He wasn't going to sign a new contract, but he didn't want to drop it in Montreal because that's where he's fae.
Aye.
So
But
they.
he didn't want to drop it to Michaels either. That was a big part. And Vince wanted to own Michaels, and Hart didn't like Michaels. The two of them didn't like each other.
So it was at a Survivor Series, which was part of like the big four kind of shows. So he said he didn't want to drop it there because it was in Montreal. He just wanted to have that, and then he would drop it again. He would drop it the next night on Raw.
Aye.
But who was it that went to? What was her name again? Was it Blaze?
Oh, Sonny. Was it Sonny?
Sonny.
No, it was there was a woman that went to WCW with
Oh,
the,
they
London
dropped it
Blaze.
in the-
London
She
Blaze.
dropped the fucking women's title on
and the bin
WCW
and
bin.
WCW.
WCW with the WWE women's title at the time and dropped it in a bin.
So
It was a big war. Like the ratings
aye.
war
Aye,
was
ratings.
was
The
Monday,
Monday
Night
Night War.
Wars. Yeah, it was massive.
So they didn't want that to happen again. So they says, right, we need to get this off him. So Shawn Michaels put the sharpshooter on him, which was Bret
Aye,
Hart's
because his move, and he
aye,
went to reverse it, went he?
aye, and then
they just rang the bell.
they
kinda.
tell Errol Hebner to ring the bell, and then all hell broke loose.
Aye.
So Bret Hart stood up and leaned over the ropes and spat in Vince McMahon's face, and you could see the spit running
Oh
down his
my.
face, and then
Turned to the hard cam and
done WCW in there.
which always
And then-
annoys me because he does it backwards because of the camera. They see it backwards, and I always watch it and I go, that's annoying.
I remember hearing about it because I think I watched a documentary about Bret Hart. Bret Hart, when I was a wee guy, see the wee visor specs and all that kind of thing. I
he was
loved that.
the guy, man.
And thing,
Music's quality.
Aye.
and it was like it was Foley and him, so I think it was like it Foleyed him for like his singing, his early career up to that kind of point, and then kind of talked a wee bit after it. But like it was why the bits I remember him about it was just probably like a wee wrestling show, like, but I think it was still WWF, and he was meant to get hit, and he was meant to win the fight, so they hit him, and he jumped off of the kind of the side netting, and he landed right on the metal bar, like kind of around the edge of the thing, cracked like all his ribs, so he can barely breathe, and like he can't say I've burst my ribs, and the other guy's like pounding on him and stuff like that, and going like that. What are you fucking up taking him? He's dying almost. And they're like, I don't know if they eventually did have to pin him, which was against what the plan was. And everybody's booing fuck him. And they're taking him out in a stretcher and they're all like, boo, you fake bastard.
See, that,
They fucking
it annoys me when folk call it fake though, because
Aye,
it's
it's-
predetermined, but a lot of
Predetermined's the
stuff.
best word for it
Aye,
because we
definitely.
know it's coming, but it hurts like a bastard.
Oh, I
Aye.
can imagine.
Like me as a 23-year-old guy, I've done my ACL, my MCL, my ACL in there. I've disjointed that shoulder, dislocated that shoulder, done 3 discs in my back. I've had 2 major concussions, 3 minor concussions, and a couple of metatarsals in my foot. And that was all for the ages of 14, 19.
So was that just all happening like on independent circuits? This wasn't like major promotions, or was this
This
just
was
training
in
to do
a
it?
wee backstreet gym in Airdrie.
Right.
This was
Mate, you were just getting a kick in the air.
essentially. But I was at a reputable school and everything. It wasn't like I was just fucking in with some guy that had
You
watched
weren't in
it.
a
the night.
trampoline. You weren't
I
in
broke
somebody
my
going
wrist in a
back there.
trampoline trying to act it when I was 12, but...
You started when you were 14?
Yes. You can start for the age of 12. I've known guys to get in at 10, 11 and get trained.
And were you paying to be in the school to get the
10
cunt
of a
kicked
week.
out of you?
Aye.
Jesus
But,
Christ.
How many trainings a week is that?
Just the one, just the
Just the one.
Sunday. 4 hours on a Sunday, and then it was like you had your shows, and I used to go out. To be fair, it was quite amoral. Like I was 14, 15, getting drove with like 19, 20, 21-year-olds up to Larbert and handed a pack of flyers, and then just to go out and give them out to people, and just floating about a place I didn't know myself, giving out flyers, and building rings at fucking 11, 12 o'clock at night, and taking rings down and putting them away. But that's just to buy the vessel much.
See,
You need to pay your dues.
But that's what they say. They say paying your dues, but where's the limit with that? Where's
Well,
the bit
that's
where you're
where I
getting the
finally
fucking
broke.
piss taken out of you? Because
That's
that
where I
sounds like
fucking
you're getting
broke,
taken
because
for a mug.
5 years in, and I'd been on one show, and I was training guys on their first day of training. I was actually taking on them, training them in wee simple stuff. And I was watching them getting opportunities afore me, and I asked the guy that was running the show, I said, why are they getting opportunities afore I was? He said, I just don't like your look, I don't think you'll make it. I'm like, I've been here for 5 years, paying you every week, going to wrestling shows, basically giving you free liberty, promoting and building rings and doing security at shows and everything, and you just don't like the look of me. Nah, fuck this, and that's when I wrapped it.
Jeez, oh, man.
Shame,
That's
but
what WCW said to Undertaker.
Aye.
They were like, he's never going to make it.
Aye.
And then look at him, the dead man.
Steve
I thought
Austin is the ringmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were meaning you said, you want to come up to Larbert and do something. It's a bit specific, Vince. What the fuck is this, Larbert?
But don't get me wrong, the full experience was brilliant. Like, see meeting guys and the camaraderie you had with boys. Mental. I still speak to some of the boys these days, and I see them doing well, and I'm all for them. Do you know what I
I'm
mean?
going to say, has any of them moved on to like ICW and places like that?
One of my mates, Daz Black, he's currently ICW 0G champion, or I think he's just maybe lost it. Guys I've trained with, Chris Laurie and Wee James, they're the ICW tag team champs. My mate Dean Ford was on the ICW shows that were on the WWE network. Big Krieger and Luke King Sharp and that, they were ICW tag team champions at one point. Krieger's destined for the WWE. Big Declan, he's destined for it. He's just like a regen of Drew McIntyre, but he's brilliant. And Lucha, and there's hundreds of boys that I watched grow from like just wee guys want to wrestle to actual proper professional wrestlers. Do
But
you
like,
know what I mean?
see, when you were younger, like obviously you would be thinking like, oh, that's something I want to do and whatnot. But like, see, when you get a bit older and you're thinking, God, these guys are like traveling the world like 24/7. There's no days off or anything. Is it appealing now than what it was when you were younger?
100%.
Really?
I'd have done 200 days a year, I no problem.
Really? Fuck. I was well up for it when I was younger, and then obviously that was never going to happen. But when I got a bit older and I realised how much like they travel in that, I was like, I couldn't fucking hack that. There's
But see,
no
that's
way.
what you need to do as a
comedy.
comedian, I know.
Aye, that's comedy as well.
Entertainment, isn't it? Right?
Aye.
Oh, entertainment.
But this is where I think I had a conversation with somebody where I think I've always wanted to entertain, and as I said last week, my passion was comedy growing up. I'd always watch it, but wrestling was on the par, and wrestling was maybe just a wee bit better than that I was more passionate about, and that's how I tried it first. But I think I want to entertain, and these are the two means that I know. Like, I kind of hope one day, if I make a name for myself and everything, I could maybe drop into ICW, because I know Dallas and I know some of the boys there, that I could maybe do something with them, do you know what I mean, in times to come. And I still love wrestling to this day.
Yeah.
So it's something I'm definitely like still want to get involved in. But comedy's where it's at the new. Comedy seems to be where I'm excelling. Do you know what I mean? If I can say that about my comedy career, but
Aye.
it
You
never
big
worked-
yourself
it
up,
never
come
worked-
on.
It never worked out in wrestling, and
And then if it never hangs, you can always just fucking rock bottom some cunt for
Aye.
a gig or that.
I mind I done a gig with Thomas Elvin, and he used to wrestle too. He's another comic.
Oh, did they?
Aye, we went to the same school. We met
Oh,
years
really?
and years ago. And I'm like, Mum will just go out and run a spot. He's like, just go out and start comparing the gig, and I'll just run in and like clothesline you, and we'll just start running a spot. And he's like, oh, I can't bump any more, man. I'm all scared. And I'm like, imagine just doing that in a comedy show. Just running in and start running a spot. Like, line, back elbow, right, body slam, right. 1, 2, kick out, start running all the lines.
I think that would be the hardest thing, is remembering what they've just said to me, because they'll lean in and say, right, I'm going to clothesline you.
And that's if you're very, that's if you're very experienced. But we used to plan matches. So the way you plan a match is you do the shine with the babyface gets his stuff in and gets the crowd wins over the crowd and everything. And then you get into the heat where the heel beats them up and gets the crowd to hate them and blah blah blah. Then you get the big comeback with the face starts batting the heel again. Then you get into the double down where it's basically you hit mainly in tag matches where you hit each other at the same time and you're lying there. And then it comes into the finish and that's when it can run for near fall, and then big spot, and then that's your cover.
That's the part I love about it. It's so good.
We'd plan it out.
I used to have this fucking bird years ago, and she always used to be like, "Oh, why the fuck do you watch wrestling? Blah blah. It's a lot of shit." And I'm like, "Well, what do you do on like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night?" Or whatever? And she was like, "Oh, watch EastEnders and Coronation Street." I'm like, "It's the exact same thing. It's all storylines. It's all bullshit.
And nobody's getting put through a table.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I want to see Roy Cropper getting fucking tombstone through a fucking table.
Imagine that. Imagine if they just exercised all their hatred and all that.
I want to see fucking EastEnders Elimination Chamber match. Danny Dyer getting fucking tombstone.
I think the dad Dingle, I think he'd win the Royal Rumble. The
He's
big
probably
boy
a
with
wee fucking a wee knuckle duster or
Aye,
something.
definitely. He's got a combine harvester ready to fuck through somebody.
That's the big finale.
So you're wrestling. Did you have like a wrestling name or anything like that? Or right, let's go.
Oh, can we try and guess?
No, because do you know what really annoys me? I've come up with the name JP Cooper because my dad's name's John Paul and my mom's maiden name was Cooper. I thought that's great.
JP
That'll
Cooper's
do.
cool,
But there's a singer that seemed to hit the charts 3 months after I came out with it called JP Cooper.
Oh man!
And it used to annoy the life out of me.
What did they say?
I don't know. I can't even mind.
JP Cooper also sounds like he fits bathrooms, mate. Like maybe that's how they get in.
Aye.
Like slow motion. Welcome to JP Cooper.
Well, JP McCready, my dad, worked with the waterboard, right? So,
JP Cooper's a cool wrestler.
aye. I used to wear
'Cause you
tights.
can't
I
go
used to
about
wear
saying-
tights and a t-shirt.
That's cool. See, you can't go about saying, "Oh, I'm the fiddler" or whatever they call themselves back in the day, innit? You just can't. I mean, you wouldn't call yourself the fiddler, anyway. We call you the fiddler, but
There used to be a guy, Robert Hunter. Bobby Hunter.
Yes. Wow. There must be a wrestler back in the day called the Fiddler or something.
there will be.
By accident. They're like, why am I always getting barred after all the other big names? Bar the Fiddler.
I mean, there's. I don't know why I get into that. But there's Jerry the King Lawler, I think he was called the Fiddler at one point. A fucking beast. But anyway,
Aye.
I doubt he'll
He
be
was
listening.
fiddling a few things.
Aye.
Yeah.
But, so, did you have a finish? What was your finisher? What's your?
I run in moonsault, believe it or not. I run in shooting star press.
I love shooting star press. Is my favourite
A
move.
running shooting star press.
So
Right,
I'd
hang
hit-
for that for me because I don't
So
really
I
know.
used to hit them with a shoulder jawbreaker, which is basically a backward stunner. I used to finger them out, hit the shoulder jawbreaker, they'd lie down, I'd run, hit the ropes, run, and backflip at the same time.
Ah, right.
So it was like I was
Fucking
stunned.
hell.
How the fuck did you do that?
I'm agile as fuck.
Really?
Aye.
Still?
Even with all these
I
14
could-
million
I could-
different injuries that you
I could probably still do it to this day, aye, but it wouldn't look clean. It wasn't that clean back then, but it would look even worse now.
I've
This
only
is
ever
what-
seen
this is
fucking
what that
Billy
new
Kidman
content
doing
makes for
the
it.
shooting star press off the top ropes.
Well,
I've never
she-
seen someone doing a running
Aye.
shooting star
Aye.
press.
Did anybody ever do that before, or did you?
No, there was hundreds of folks. See, back in the indie scene, like Ricochet, who I grew up loving, that I've been watching for 2011, 2012, in PWG, Chikara, Lucha Underground, New Japan. He does all that cool shit, and he done running shooting star presses. He done
Can
this-
I actually say, like, one thing about like the modern wrestling was, I can't remember what WrestleMania it was. I think it was either the last year or the year before, and they had like a big fucking, I think it was like a 10-man tag or something like that. But that Ricochet was involved in it, and that was the first time I'd watched a whole pay-per-view in years. And I was like, by the time it finished, I was like, he's the only guy I will remember off that whole fucking roster
he
of-
makes
of that
everything look
pay-per-view.
shit hot.
because he was amazing.
Like, see when they took Randy Orton's RKO once, he took it in the top of his head. Like, you just see him, he butt the flare, but it makes everything look shit hot, and he's safe as fuck. And it's incredible to watch a man like that.
You know, I really like that he's not as flashy as Ricochet. Like Ricochet's fucking insane. But Baron Corbin,
Baron Corbin.
he's like, he looks so powerful, but you just know everybody's safe as fuck with him.
Aye.
Like the way that he just like makes them land and all that, they're like bouncing, but you know that
Aye.
there's not one bit of
He's
them.
very much early 2000s, where it's big, power moves
Aye.
where he can protect the head and slam them properly.
Aye, he's just.
And he
watching
is
him, you don't
great.
feel-
I don't get all the flack against Baron Corbin, I really don't.
Aye,
Because
I
he is
really like
brilliant.
him.
And especially what he's doing in NXT now with Ilya Dragunov. Oh, it's fucking
Does he
brilliant.
get a lot of shit?
Aye, well, he's back down in NXT and he's fighting for the NXT title. He's just fought for the NXT title with Ilya Dragunov.
Right.
And the match was brilliant.
I see. I think like, before going down to NXT might have been like a bit of a like step down, but I don't think it is as much.
Is that like
now.
going down to the first division, basically?
It's developmental. It's
aye,
back,
developmental
It's
league, aye.
gone to the under 21 team.
Aye, but it's
But it's
all
no
the folk
anymore.
argue that it is better than the
Aye,
main shows.
would
It's
it-
better to headline that than it is to be first guy on or third fight
Aye.
on in a
Aye.
Better to be
Aye.
just in a 6-minute match. It's better to be on like the opening match in NXT than it is to be a random 6-minute match in a Monday Night Raw.
Aye.
Aye,
Do you know what I mean? And
More exposure and that better kind of placing.
it's just you get more freedom. And see,
Alright.
NXT went for developmental to they were bringing in all these independent guys because WWE like to bring in their own guys and build up their own guys like Roman and Lesnar and The Rock and Cena and Orton, all these guys. But that the NXT started bringing in. I think Triple H kind of looked at it and went, "All these guys are making names for themselves. We'll bring them in." And it just became an indie promotion under the WWE
Aye.
banner.
But they
and
used
that-
to have that before. What was it? OVW.
OV
And the same,
OVW.
same
So
guys
good.
that you mentioned there, like your fucking Randy Ortons and Brock
Cena.
Lesnar and Cena. That's how they came
Aye,
through.
that
eh,
was their
for
developmental.
OVW.
That's OVW turned into NXT, and then after it was like kind of developmental, they weren't really how to like, market it as a show. They started bringing in all these independent guys like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, Tyler Breeze,
Velveteen Dream.
Velveteen Dream.
That
even-
sounds like a drink at Hotel Chocolat, doesn't it, man? A Velveteen Dream.
Well, Velveteen Dream, he had this kind of
Some
like
marshmallows
fucking
and that.
camp gimmick, and then he get done for sexual assault, and he's not been seen again. But
That's a recurring theme with this episode.
that's
That's why I brought them up.
There's a few.
There's a lot of wrong-uns in the fucking
Oh,
wrestling industry.
100%.
But I mean, there is everywhere, I suppose. But
Wronging's gonna be. You know?
Aye, every industry's got their wrongings. I
aye,
mean, look at acting, music, and fucking.
in this room.
Aye.
Count me out of that.
I'm just a red dot on the screen, apparently.
Aye, so wrestling. I think that's that done, eh?
Wrestling's a beautiful industry if you understand it, but people mainly get a bad rap.
Well, what's your guys' favourite match of all time?
Oh my god. For build up, Kane versus Undertaker at
WrestleMania 14.
14.
Michael's Taker, WrestleMania 26. That's up there.
Yep. Yeah, that's aye. I'd probably need to do 4. That would
Aye.
definitely be in it. Because I was watching that. Gail, my wife, wasn't really into wrestling and stuff, and I'd got the pay-per-view and stuff like that, and I was like jumping about the bed and all that, and she was trying to sleep and shit, and she was like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, this is the best match I've ever seen in my life.
Aye.
And then CM Punk Cena at Money in the Bank, where CM
Oh,
Punk was
oh.
going to leave with the belt.
100%.
But I think the crowd made that though. But I mean,
Aye, but it was the stakes and-
storytelling and everything. That's all part of wrestling.
Aye.
So they 3 are all tied for me, I think.
Aye. Cena, Punk, Money in the Bank. Michael's Undertaker, WrestleMania 26. And I'm going to go with a rogue shout here that I don't think you two might have seen is Okada Omega at Wrestle Kingdom. It was that fucking 2018 maybe? Or New Japan.
Aye.
Or New Japan. I love Japanese wrestling, and
Aye.
that's where Balor came from, Ricochet came from, Will Ospreay, all them. Well, made their big names.
Aye.
See, like everyone that I speak to about wrestling, like obviously you'll probably know a lot more about it than I do when you're mentioning all those kind of like companies and that. But whenever I speak to the same sort of guys as you, they're like, if you like the Attitude Era, check out that like Japanese wrestling,
Aye.
like Mexico wrestling and that. Because like,
I don't
see
watch
guys
much
like
Mexicans.
fucking Chris Jericho and all that.
Chris Jericho made his name in Mexico.
Yeah, they always say the best years they had were in those companies. And
Because it's pure wrestling. That WWE sports entertainment. That's pure. And I'm not trying to be. Oh, this is pure wrestling. This is what you need
No,
to.
but it is.
I love WWE. I always will do. But where WWE have changed to sports entertainment and it's a show. This is just we want to go and have a great wrestling match, and this is where AEW blares the line. I don't really keep up with it anymore, and I did keep up with it for a wee while, but I think they've just ruined it.
I think it's
all,
dead.
It's all just their chummy pals, and
It's
they're
so
trying
dead.
to fucking... Apart from Mox, MJF, and a few others, did no well. Young Bucks only, but they used to be. Kenny Omega's nobody's used to be. Orange Cassidy's still a wee bit out, but it's no great. They've all got backroom heat, and it's just like, oh, you're ruining it. It's just WCW for the 90s.
Can I say what probably one of my favourite matches is of all time, right? And it's more the build-up than the actual matches themselves, right? So Mick Foley is one of the GOATs by far, one of the GOATs, right?
Easy.
Mankind, right? So there's a bit leading up to it. So he's going against The Rock. Well, sorry, he was against Undertaker getting thrown off a cage. Then he goes against The Rock in an I Quit match, a last man standing match. And the thing is, right, towards the end of his career, it was him about like putting over other people. So he put over The Rock big time. The Rock would not be anywhere where he is right now without Mankind. But you know, the last person he ever done it for, and still to this day,
Ed?
I cannot get... No. Triple H. Triple H.
Aye.
Triple H, the Royal Rumble 2000 and No Way Out 2000 in the Hell in a Cell when he gets backdropped for it and he goes through the fucking ring. Oh my God.
Is that with the thumbtacks and all that as well?
Oh,
Is that-
aye. It was the Royal Rumble in Madison Square Garden where he gets pedigreed on the thumbtacks. No, I think he kicks out of that and then he gets backdropped onto the thumbtacks again and then he gives up the free count.
Aye, because he says, like, no, it wasn't good enough. Let's do it again.
Aye,
I think
yeah,
he's a lunatic, man.
I'm sure he had Errol Hebner like screaming at him, being like, backstage have said that's it, it's done. But he's like, no, we need to go again.
But then there's the I Quit match against The Rock where he's got his hands tied behind his back. They chair shots are fucking brutal.
13 chair shots to the head.
And his wings were in the front row.
Yeah.
And you see Noel Foley.
Noel,
Have you ever seen it was Beyond the Mat
Matt,
documentary?
yeah.
And they're filming it and they're getting like his wife and kids' reactions.
And
And
they're greeting and
you see like the fucking mother pick up the kids to run backstage because they can't watch it anymore, man.
But the worst chair shot I think I've ever seen was the Ken Shamrock.
Shamrock one. Yep.
Oh, with a rock.
Well,
Where he's sitting like that.
Because he told Rock before they done it, he's if you don't hit me, I'm no selling. And the Rock's like, well, I've just need to hit you and scalped him. That was a knockout blow. That was unbelievable.
It's unreal.
I feel quite sorry for you,
Steve.
Stephen.
Ken Shamrock at that point, was that before he went to the UFC? Was that
No.
after
No,
the UFC?
so he
very
was.
keen.
He went to UFC.
Was it UFC? Did the UFC first? Because it was like 93.
No,
or
it was
something he
Pride.
signing
Was
that?
it Pride?
Oh, I must
He
have
went
went.
to-
It must have been. Oh,
No, I
Must have
Yeah,
been Pride. Before it, and then he done WCW, WWE, and then he left. Done the UFC, went to TNA.
You sure? Because he must. I think he must have started.
He
in UFC.
started
Was
the UFC.
in the
because-
UFC. and
Because
then that.
he came in for UFC and so did Dan the Beast Severn.
Oh, I big Dan Severn,
and
man.
he trained in that.
Still to this day, one of the most underrated theme songs ever in WWF by me. That his theme song was fucking beast.
If he's ever seen the Dan Severn fight where he's fighting, oh. And it was the guy must have just been it was wild, man. Aye, but-
I feel
Well,
bad
how did-
talking about wrestling as much when you know that, Stevie. So
Hey.
what we talk. So appraisal. Let's
talk
get
to us
into
about
that.
Oh, right, which is why I know, what they had, like.
So, bit of context. Stevie does what would you call the music?
Yeah, it's lo-fi, like kind of chill music as a wee sidey, which is it's strange that for my whole musical tenure that this is the style of music that I'm releasing.
I was.
because-
Aye,
do you do that?
yeah, aye,
Lo-fi.
man. I've got. If I looked at the new, I'll tell you how many. I've got a song the new with a guy from Brazil called "Conviving with Me" that has got thousands.
Sunrise. Is it
Please.
Sunrise? It's called.
Aye, Sunrise.
Yeah.
That's the song. I'm
I've
currently
had-
sitting at 3,155 monthly listeners, and that song's got
Brilliant.
3,230 36 plays.
That's one thing I've been
Yes.
getting recommended a lot on YouTube. Is
Lo-fi music.
Lo-fi music, but it's always like because I like retro gaming, so it'll be
Yeah.
like the Legend of Zelda lo-fi mix and that,
That's
and
how
I'll just
people
sit with it in the background, and it's chilled as fuck.
That's
man.
how people ended up becoming really big. Like, there's a couple of players in it that are massive, and it's because they'd be taking like a TV show or a video game, and they'd make like a flip, I think they call it, and they make like a kind of
flipping
lo-fi
it, yeah.
version of it, sort of thing, and that just came in pandemic kind of music. This was like there's people are saying now like their players are coming down because nobody's sitting in the house all the time constantly doing their work, just putting
Well,
on
it
the
was
lo-fi
always
chill,
like
but that's
when I
how
see
get
it,
into
it's like lo-fi to study to, lo-fi
Yeah.
to sleep to, and
Aye.
but it's all chilled, man.
It's all chilled.
I
man.
like
That's
it.
how
like
I ended
it.
up getting into it because during the pandemic, I was doing some SVQ assessment as part of my day job, sort of thing, and I was like, I need something to just take my mind off it. And I remember all the kids that would have worked with that laughing about like lo-fi music to study and chill to and all that kind of thing. And I was like, why not give this a wee go? And I ended up spending quite a lot of the time instead of writing the thing, like saving the songs, because I'm like, right, I need to listen to that again. That's great. That's great. And that's where I came up with the idea for doing it myself, because I've got all the skills today. I went to uni and to do commercial music, so I've been recording and playing guitar for years and years and years. Never really releasing anything, like making CDs for bands that I was in at the time, like recording them, producing them and stuff like that, but never actually like just putting stuff out under my own steam. When streaming became a big thing, that's when I became a dad at that point, and I had a big shift in my life to like then you had, what do you call it, your priorities completely shifted for doing any of that sort of stuff to being that sort of I probably missed a wave in that sort of regard, but I don't know if I would have bought my hoop anyway. You know, I've had these conversations with myself at times. But so why it's called appraisal is because I was literally appraising people's SVQs while I was listening to it, and it just seemed to be the done thing today to add a wee full stop at the end of it to make you seem all cool. And that's appraisal with a full stop. That's my name kind of thing. So I have been doing that since like 2020 kind of thing, releasing. So currently this is the highest amount of monthly people I've had for a long time. I'm planning. Another guy releases the music for me now as well. Like they picked it up. It's basically Lo-Fi Cloud is the name of the label sort of thing, but it's spelled with a Q. It's like CLQUD. You know, there's quite a lot of like folk change the name here. It's quite a thing, like an aesthetic child cam kind of thing about all the music. It's weird because as a growing up, I was a punker and a metalhead. You know what I mean? Like
that's what I was going to ask. What caused the kind of shit? Was it just because of what you were doing?
Really just kind of nice and chilled and that. And I don't know how musically inclined you are, but I really wanted to get a Telecaster guitar at the time.
So I love. That's my dream guitar, man.
I bought like one off a Gumtree during the kind of pandemic, and that was just the right sound for it. You know what I mean? I ended up like, right, I'm buying a real one now. I'm going to get a good Telecaster and that, and then I started recording and stuff like that. You know, but that sort of.
Because Telecaster's like kind of like shoegaze kind of guitar,
like kind of nice glassy warm tones that you get off a Telecaster, and so that was the big thing. But I'm if you as technical and thingy knowledge about all things wrestling, man, that's like when it comes to me with guitars and like things. I've got a good range of different instruments, so I almost try to layer them up in that. And I've never been much of like a keyboard guy. That's one instrument I can't play is the piano, right? I know how to make chords, I can get there, but I couldn't just sit you down and go, you know what I mean, blast you out a tune. That's where MIDI is great. I don't know if you know, it's just drawing the notes in and stuff like that and fixing them and quantizing it. But that's what's weird about lo-fi is usually whenever you've done like punk or metal and stuff like that, they want things to be on the time, right? You know what I mean? Like everything, to make it really have that impact, the kick drums got to come in with the bass and everything's go dun dun dun. Whereas lo-fi is like so off kilter.
It's offbeat, isn't it?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is there any hardstyle version of lo-fi?
Probably. I don't really know how it would work. It'd be too.
That's up my street.
It's too intense.
It's almost like if you took hardstyle and halved its speed. It's something that's got quite a good kick drum. Like I learned a few things that I'd learned about like wee techniques that I'd never really honed in on when doing music production, like side chaining to make sure that kick drum really thumps through and stuff like that. So it's gave me an opportunity to do that and play with a lot more sounds, Because when you're playing in a punk band or a metal band, it's like distortion. Let's get a big meaty sound, kick drum, snare, loud. You know what I mean? Let's just. Whereas like you're trying to like roll off sounds, or you're trying to put things in a wee bit off kilter, and it's like, but. Apart from like punk and metal and stuff like that, one of my big influences is the Streets.
Oh yeah,
Right?
Oh,
like I
Mike Skinner.
really love Mike Skinner's stuff, man. Like,
I thought you meant the Liverpool Streets.
no,
That's a gangster.
oh man, I need to get a new lo-fi album called Cali Road. So like that kind of like Mike Skinner stuff's always been well interesting. Like he does things with kick drums and like out of time and all that sort of stuff. Just like kind of keeps you on your toes. It's never just straightforward 1, 2, 3, 4s. And like that's whenever you're like it's interesting, man. You get to play with a lot of kind of extra like musical kind of terms that you never normally do in a punk band. You know what I mean? No, punk's my favourite. You know, it's no slagging it. It's thingy. It's but you know what's quite mental is the Offspring released Americana in lo-fi.
Oh, did
last
they?
year or this year anyway, kind of thing.
Really?
So it's a full album, but it's lo-fi done by another dude, kind of thing, or another guy.
They've caught on to it, eh?
Aye,
That's
the
it.
full album.
I've seen a few Mom Jeans released on it. Was it Mom Jeans or Hot Mulligan? I think released a lo-fi album as well.
Right.
Aye, so it is kind of catching on. There's a lot of folk getting into it.
I love it as a genre because it's why the ones you can because there's nice singing or anything like that in it. Like there's different people like different things with lo-fi. Like I'm on quite a few playlists. There's one on Reddit, funnily enough. Again, I put my songs into different playlists, and some want music, some want singing, some don't. Like you get right jazzy stuff in that as well, where it's like it's a full-on jazz song almost, but it's got really chilled drums underneath it and stuff like that.
Jazz is perfect though for like lo-fi because you can like isolate each instrument so easily with jazz. Where there's like metal and punk, you probably couldn't do it with that.
Yeah, you'd need to like take the chords and basically slow them right down and like really choose like what to do. I've thought about it myself with like some of my older punk songs or metal songs and stuff like that. Like what could I do with that? But then I'm bad for remembering anything that I actually have wrote. See if I don't record it, man, it's gone now. You know what I mean? Like even if I want to see if I want to record. If I'm playing the guitar, I'd be playing and immediately just get the phone out, record, so I remember it. Because next time I get to the computer, that's gone.
Aye, I've got stuff recorded in my phone for like when I was in a band, like, and I'm the same, man. I could never remember it as well. But even try to like, pick up a guitar and do stuff I wrote because I was in a band. Good couple of years ago now, about 18, 19. We were originally called Your Mo's Your Da, and then we were called The Bonnie Situation. Named after the chapter in Pulp Fiction where they shoot Marvin in the face. And then we settled on Schizo Tuesdays was her name.
Schizo Tuesdays.
Nice. But we used playing like punk and that.
That sounds like a catty night.
Aye,
Schizo Tuesdays.
Copyright.
But we were kind of like Indian stuff. We were like really into kind of Frightened Rabbit and different things like that.
Right.
I couldn't really. I'm not about to say, we fucking reinvented anything, but we were just kind of playing what we liked. I mean, I wrote all the songs and stuff like that. Danny, the bassist, he wrote one or two that were really good. But a majority of them were written by me, and it was just kind of what I was listening to at the time and stuff like that. But I think being in a band and stuff like that, again, it's just we want to be part of entertainment.
Aye.
It's just kind of wanting to actually be creative and put it out there because I think that's the thing with comedy as well as fucking making music. You've got a creative bug and you want to kind of get it out there one
This
day
is
or
it
another.
as well because that's why I quite like the appraisal in that sort of way, like cause it's just me, and that you know what I mean. Like obviously we're doing a show together and stuff like that, but like being in bands and stuff like that, like I've not got the commitment to go and start that. Too many other wee things, but something like comedy, something like doing my own thing solo, you can pick it up when you've got. You can go and do it just like that's happening one night, and it's no like right. I'm going to go and do that, and then it's like the drummer's cat's fucking fell down a drain, and he can't come out the night. And you're like again, that fucking cat. You know what I mean? Cover the drains, but like
Fucking feed it, and all the strokes slapping through the cracks.
it was always. But in that situation, it was never the drummer, right? Because my drummer was solid, my mate Andy. But but you know what I mean? That sort of thing. There was always something to like, put it off, can I date the night or that, or blah, blah, blah. Whereas it's like, right, cool, it's just me. I don't need to get diaries together or anything like that to try and figure it out. And that's what I quite like about both, they kind of solo pursuits.
Aye. Do you know my only experience with music? Like, most of my high school lunch was spent in the music department, but it was only because the pit is in the back classroom and you could go out the fire exit to smoke a fag. And then we just used to get in there and fuck about with the keyboards. DJ.
aye.
You know, fling Maltesers at each other across the
And then-
gas.
and then you
I was just a fucking hooligan.
We used to get they like talking keyboards in school. Where they were like
Aye.
oh, and it was all like the alphabet and all that, and you'd be spelling out names like it was like the booger, I think it was one of the Bauger.
Like the boobs in the calculator.
See, like, and did you just have like a keyboard lab in school and all that? Like,
Aye.
did the teachers get to
Something like
listen
that.
in to like go and let me hear what song you're playing now? And you're sitting going, what the fuck is he doing over there?
Flushing the toilet and all that.
Making your own porn score out.
I did play drums for a bit. A wee bit.
Did you?
Aye. I know the 1, 2, 3, 4 carry on, all the basic shit, but I rapped that because I've not got any decent hand-eye coordination.
It's drum. I can play drums a bit now. I used to never be able to do it because I used to not be able to separate my right foot and my right horn. So, but like,
Aye.
like, but no, I can.
Very much tapping the bass drum all the time.
Aye, like,
And
see
it would
that.
just be
Aye.
like wee
I learned
taps.
to do it by sitting in the back of the motor. See, like, go on a journey and listen to music, and I wasn't even noticing that. I was like,
Aye.
I was like, oh, I've separated it.
But I'm so musically illiterate, it's unreal. I'm just so no clued up. Like, we fucking, like, you are talking about bands and all that. Like, I could tell you about 4 bands that I know.
Well, I'm not that with wrestlers, mate. You were sitting rhyming off so many things, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, Ryan knows a
Like, you've
lot
got
about
the
wrestling.
Kasabian, Arctic Monkeys, La Fontaines,
I love La Fontaines.
He's done.
Prodigy.
Hey!
And that's about my whack.
And
that's
Prodigy's kind of.
Aye.
No, even a band.
no,
Well, they
even
had
a
a
band.
band.
Aye.
Aye, but there's no
Fucking 3 of them.
Aye.
It's 2 new.
Have you ever seen? I've seen the Prodigy, man.
I've not seen the
I saw him at
Prodigy.
Tea in the Park, man. It was the best night of my life.
Oh, it's
I've
amazing.
seen them
Isn't
as
it?
well.
Well,
Shit up.
come back to how young I'm. Martina Part was a bit before my time.
I seen them in
I
download.
think it quit just when I was about 13, 14.
Oh, right. I went to see them in. I seen them in download. Right, it was the year Metallica was playing it. Metallica played Master of Puppets in its entirety. It was like its
did
20-year
they?
anniversary. It was glorious. And Guns N' Roses were playing on the last night, and I was like, it wasn't Guns N' Roses as it is now. It was Axl Rose. It was Bumblefoot was the guy who was playing the guitar at the time. I think Chinese Democracy had maybe just came out, or it was before.
Aye.
Chinese
Aye,
Democracy
you're
was
right,
coming
aye.
out. So my pals were all like Guns N' Roses, and I'm like, no, because that guy's never coming out on stage. You're going to be sitting waiting for 3
aye.
fucking hours. So I went to go and see Skindred, and then The
fucking
Prodigy,
love them,
and then
man.
Sick of It All. And I managed to get back to the tent before Guns N' Roses were finished. You know what I mean? It's because
Yeah.
it took ages to come out.
Aye.
And the tea in that tent, it was kind of like the King Tut's tent. You know, like it used to be at
Aye.
Tea in the Park, the big blue tent, and it was jammed. Like I got to it and you couldn't get in. Like, there was like queues of people going round, but there was a flap like that on the side of the tent, and I was looking, going, "There's nobody else seeing this fucking clear entry into the tent." I just fucking busted under a barrier and snuck my way in, and it was rammed that hard. People were climbing the poles. And there was like 9 deep. Like, you know, like you sometimes have to see it at Tea in the Park, one guy, it was like 6, 7 people, 9 people all up these poles all the way along, to the point that the vocalist was like, you need to get down, or this is cutting off horse. The place was just fucking...
You can't beat metal and rock gigs, eh?
Aye, I was like,
Cannot
aye.
fucking beat them, man.
And that was Prodigy at a metal festival, you know what I mean? And it was the most stowed out, man.
Aye.
Just a quick thing. Does Chasing Status count as a band?
No.
I've been
well,
getting in my drum band.
They kind of are, I suppose. They have live drums. Like Pendulum are a band. But I know it's like Rob
aye.
Swire, not, but it's like you can see them as a band.
If you're counting Prodigy as in a band,
Aye.
you're counting Chasing Status as a band.
Aye.
This is how
Definitely.
little I know about music.
I hate Pendulum with a burning
Hey,
passion.
I used to love
I don't know. It's
Pendulum,
just
Aye, of course, that's what I want.
Nah, aye, that's it.
yeah.
Who's Pendulum? We don't know.
Fucking
Pendulum,
this.
That's like a lot of their bands getting the backbeat kind of stuff, but a lot of their earlier stuff was more just like drum and breakbeat is what it is, because you can get dead technical. Is it drum and bass? Is it breakbeat? Is it whatever? I'm trying to think of big songs that they had, like, man, like Hold Your Colour.
I definitely think I've heard the Pendulum.
And what was that song again?
Was that them that had Tarantula?
Tearing me down and I can't remember the name of that song though. It's massive at the time. You're probably about 7 months old or some shit.
They had that big album.
In
that had
Silico.
aye.
That
and-
was massive. But see, the album before that again was immense. I went to see them on that, the Hold Their Colour album, in the Archies. No, the Archies was fucking just heaving that, and it was just vroom, vroom, like I'd never been in it before. No, a drug guy and that kind of thing. Just what the fuck is this place kind of thing? And then like one of the Archies, the pendulum, were going to be playing it, and so like as a DJ playing literally up until they hit the first kick drum, and then as soon as they finished, the tunes were back on. There was like no waiting around. It was just constant kick drum. It was wild, man. It was something else.
I used to go to the Archies when it was it Octopussy on a Tuesday, and they would have like fucking, they would have bouncy castles and foam parties.
Sure,
and
it
all
wasn't
that.
Schizo Tuesday, no.
No, we'd get that trademarked. But that's the only time I'd ever really been in the Archies. But
But I'm not.
so you're into gaming then? Is that yours?
Aye.
Your situation?
Yeah, when I chill out.
You're saying retro gaming? What do you mean? Because I grew up for the ages of fucking.
You grew up for the
You
ages.
grew up for the ages.
For the ages of like 4 to like 13.
So you just came out at 4? Fuck
Right, wait a minute. So I was about 4,
Bit
I
of
was
beard,
about
never.
13, 14. My
How
dad
they dating was she?
used to have a PlayStation 1, an N64, a Mega Drive. I don't know, something
Like
I'm
Mega
missing.
Drive's kind of retro game to me.
Aye.
But PlayStation's
But
no
an
retro and that
N64
to
and a
me.
PlayStation 1 is.
They're all
Aye.
classed as retro gaming.
Aye,
now.
they're
Like
fun,
people.
Me and my dad used to have it set up in my room like before I was growing up. I had a PS3 sitting next to a N64 and I used to play GoldenEye, and you used to have WrestleMania 2000, Here Comes the Pain, used to have Banjo Kazooie.
I fucking love
Aye.
Banjo Kazooie.
All sorts. I
The
used
thing
to have
is,
it.
like now, there's certain people out there that would class the Wii as retro gaming.
Yeah.
I've
And when
just
I
got-
bump into them, I'm like, nah, I'm
No,
not having that.
because I
I'm not
got a
having
Wii
that.
on release, so I will
Aye.
not class that as retro
No.
gaming until a wee bit
See,
later.
that's
on.
where it's like that with that as well. Because I had my first ever games console I had was an Atari ST half meg.
Jesus,
Right.
That's
fuck, Stevie.
retro.
So
That's retro.
half meg as in half a megabyte of RAM. Right.
Aye, because obviously you've got gigabytes of RAM
Aye,
these days.
but
You need
like,
at least 16 to 32
half a
gigabyte of
one.
RAM to run shit.
A half of one, right? You know, things were in bytes and bits and
Aye.
stuff like that.
Used to
And
have an
like-
8 kilobyte memory card for PS1.
No, it wasn't a kilobyte, was it? Was it?
PS1 was
8 meg.
kilobyte.
It was
Meg,
megabyte.
32 meg was the
Aye.
standard.
I'm sure
Nah, man.
the PlayStation 1 was kilobyte, and then
They
the
couldn't have been.
PlayStation 2 was megabyte.
No, man, it couldn't have been kilobytes. It was dad being
32 megabyte. for your-
Kilobyte is like a single picture.
I know
on your
that.
phone,
Aye.
like
But
decompressed to fuck.
I don't know, I've got this fucking, and it's the wee tiny stupid looking grey
Aye.
memory card, and it's got 8 KB.
Aye, and
But I
Ted,
might
DiBi-
be-
Ted DiBiase Jr.'s in jail, I know. So there we go.
Fucking is! I'm telling, I'm not making this up. This just fucking gave me a complex.
See, with the ST, you used to be able to get into the Barras Market on a Saturday kind of thing and buy a disc for like £2, and it had like 8 games on it and stuff like that. You know, like, obviously, there's been counterfeiting going on in the bars forever, but it's mental to think that people were even would keep edgy for floppy discs. You know, when the police would come and grab the floppy discs and fuck it, you know? And there was a group of folk that were called the Pompeii Pirates. Like, they were the people that would get the discs and crack the games and then release them all for like cheap as fuck kind of thing, man. Aye, and they're still
Pompeii
Pirates,
Aye,
that's
they're still, if you Google the Pompeii Pirates, it'll give you all their menus, as it was called. So that was the disc that they had, or the floppy disc, and what games were on the menus, man. I had so many games.
I
for
had
the
a
Pompeii
PlayStation
Pirate
2
days,
on
man.
that. A PlayStation 2 disc, and it had like
Chipped.
80 games on it.
Aye, chipped, did you have it?
chipped
Aye,
games.
like,
I had a
no,
Nintendo
so here's the
DS one, I
question.
know.
Like, see, whenever you get your PlayStation chipped, was it a thing you plugged in the back, or was it actually chipped? And
No,
the-
mine
actually
was
chipped.
chipped.
actually
Mine
inside
was
it. Aye.
actually
Mine was
chipped,
chipped.
and I had to put a disc in for it to work.
Aye, yes,
Aye.
because I had a chip. Mine was chipped early enough.
I never had a chipped one.
Did you
No.
not?
There was a guy, Malky.
This is
in
when you
your
found
hill.
out that Al's
Aye.
actually rich as fuck. You never had a chipped PlayStation.
I could buy all my games. No.
Like, I was in CEX the other day there, man, right? And there was a fucking, like, somebody had obviously traded in, as I said, my childhood. But they
Aye.
had all the, like, I was looking at all the games. It was, there was like GTA 1, and Wipeout, Reloaded, fucking LA, was it LA Cops 20 something or other? All these fucking games. I was like, oh my God.
The
I can't
best-
believe
the best
that
game
somebody
on the
owned all
PS
them that wasn't a fiver.
Aye.
I've got something to say. Like going back to obviously the wrestling and that was I had my PlayStation 2 chipped. So every now and then, like my dad used to like literally just come home with like a bag full of discs and be like, "There you go, enjoy yourself,"
Yes.
right? And it would just be like a who's who of who's fucking what games are in here, right? But there was one time he came back in particular and he was like, "Here's it was SmackDown. Here comes the pain." But this was like a month before it came out, right?
Oh, no way.
So I was like, "Fucking hell, here we go." So it was obviously
Like an
I think
American
in
remix.
in
Aye.
America, but I don't think it translated well to PAL region because
Yeah,
obviously
was it on
they're
black and white or a different
NTSC. No. It was in colour.
All right.
Oh, it was in colour. So I put it in and I was like fucking buzzing. So here we go. I was like, first match, obviously, Brock Lesnar. I'm going to be Brock Lesnar. And then I think I'm positive it was Kane or Undertaker who I was going against. So obviously Brock Lesnar came out, as you would expect, jumping about and that, and you get the pyrotechnics and that. And it was either fucking Kane or Undertaker who I had next coming out. They had the same theme song but the same animations.
Oh, really?
Like Brock Lesnar, so he came out on the stage like jumping about and fucking giving it all that. Oh, I couldn't fucking believe it.
Maybe you had like
Honestly.
some sort of unreleased version, like maybe
It must have been like a beta, like a beta of
something
some
would
kind.
get given to people who review
I-
games or something like that.
I
and then
remember
somebody
like
chipped it.
saying to my dad, like, "Aye, that's like great and all, but everyone comes out as their Brock Lesnar. Like when they're in the ring, they're fine, but like fucking Trish Stratus, Tony Wilson, they all came out to Brock Lesnar's music.
A frog star splash after that rope, man.
Everything, it was all Brock Lesnar.
Is that getting you pants
I
in
no, I can't because I can just picture the clip. My
Oh,
head
horrible,
in it.
eh?
Aye, because see, I said the one line one time when I was wrestling training and somebody was training me. I've got two fears in life, and it's ghosts and the Canadian Destroyer because she just land your neck. The Canadian Destroyer. I still to this day I can't watch it. We done a wrestling seminar with Pete Dunne, Sea Butch. We did a wrestling seminar with him and we done half an hour on Canadian Destroyers and I just went outside and smoked a fag. I'm not getting in.
But we just had to drill that in the.
They were just teaching us how to take it, how to give it, how to land, how to set up.
A Canadian shot. Is that a backflip off the top rope? Is that what you're
No,
talking
No,
a
that's-
Canadian
that's-
Destroyer is see, like a pile driver.
Right.
You front flip into a pile driver.
Oh my
Aye.
god.
Right,
That's
date
crazy.
to me the new, we'll show him.
On the glass table.
What a way to end an episode. That
I,
was.
I love that move though.
I love the move, but I can't watch it. It gives me the fear because I've just got this fear in my neck. Because I've done shooting star presses and I've scuffed my forehead and all that. And I've just had this fear that I'm just going to go.
I think like now, like, see when I was younger, like I loved watching people getting fucked up and like as part of like why I watched it. But like see now where there's like potential of someone getting fucked up, I just cringe. Like I can't watch it. Like when I see someone jump off the top rope, I'm like,
Or
it's not the same as what was before for me, because you understand they're actually a human being. Whereas when I was younger, they were like superheroes to me. You know?
I can't stand like legs breaking and stuff. Let's see Sid Vicious.
Sid
stuff.
Vicious.
Oh.
I was going to say that.
He lands and his leg just
Like,
goes
it's
like
just
that.
leg goes for that to that.
You ever
And then-
seen
So many
these
MMA
Sabu?
cuts like that, no?
Sabu when he got like fucking backdrop for Chris Benoit in ECW. So he would like got
Aye,
backdrop.
and he smashes it off the guardrail.
And no. Like he just literally just drops head first. And like the
Oh.
thing is, ECW done back in the day is obviously because their biggest talent was out the game. So they were like, right, we need to broadcast it properly. So they cut it down. And honestly, it's online. You'll be able to see it. So they cut it down. It was like, so as soon as he hit his neck, his head on the ground, his neck snapped. And there's like a diagram showing of like how his spine just fucking like crumbled on itself. It is minging. But back in the day, I'm like, fuck yeah. But now I'm like, hell no.
That's how Jackass became a thing. Really.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with that now.
Then
It's
there's
horrible.
the Stone Cold breaking his neck against Owen Hart.
Owen Hart,
He's giving
aye.
him the sit down pile driver, but he thinks he's giving him the tombstone. You just see his head bouncing, and then he wins the match because like he's obviously
It's the
Is
worst
it-
finish
is it-
ever, eh?
Aye,
But
and
obviously, given
he's like
circumstances.
crawling about,
Is it
he's broke
Intercon-
his neck, and he
Oh my
drags
God.
him down. And
Was it Intercontinental?
was it Intercontinental at the time?
Yeah.
Oh.
But aye, there's some mental ones.
Well, the one I don't think it came out all right. The biggest hit I remember seeing with the wrestling was Undertaker hoofing Mankind off the top of the cage.
Aye, well,
He
he
was
had a major
missing it.
concussion, lost his teeth, one of them
But see, to be
his
honest,
jaw.
that's pretty good for what it took. You know what I mean?
Cracked ribs and that, and then he came up and he got on top of the cell again,
Done
and
it
then
again.
went through it.
And then it zooms in on him, and he's smiling, sitting in the corner, and there's a tooth in his nose.
Oh my god!
I remember for
Mental.
years I used to think it was a bogey hanging
Aye,
out his
so did
I.
nose, and then it was only recent years in podcasts. He's like, no, that was an actual tooth.
Aye.
Went through
It
the
went
fucking
through his
roof of my
lap.
And there's one where
Oh my God.
he's fighting Vader, and
the ear.
he chucks
Aye.
him through the ropes.
And he
his
tries to
head
do a
gets
hangman,
caught. He does
and
the
he can't-
hangman all the time, but he catches his ear because the ropes, it was in like a really kind of underground promotion, and it catches his ear, and it's like metal, and it just rips his ear off.
Oh dear man!
It's absolutely mental. But
Mick Foley's goated. He's the man.
100%.
So I think that's
Respect.
kind of probably going to come to the end of our time for this
Aye.
episode of the isn't
Aye, that suits
Aye,
me,
that's
man.
been enough fucking goa. About years getting ripped off another.
Ears and broken necks and stuff. but
Danny, thanks for
thanks
coming
a
on.
lot
Thanks
for
for
joining us, mate.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
And might as well tell you since if you've stuck around to the end of the show, it is, I was right folks, it is the 17th.
Fuck yeah.
17th of March, 2.5 days at Van Winkle's West End.
Oh, you fucked up.
So, Van Winkle's West End, 2:15, 17th of March, Glasgow International Comedy Festival. Tickets are on sale on C Tickets. If you go to the Glasgow International Comedy Festival website, you'll be able to get the link through there. And hopefully, if we can do some magic and pass on the information, it'll be below us in our wee YouTube thing, won't it?
Aye, in the description.
That's
Aye.
professionally,
Aye.
won't it?
Fingers
So,
crossed.
thanks again, boys.
Hey.
Well,
All the best.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you
see
very
you
much.
soon.
See
Hey.
ya.